Hello everybody and welcome to part 7 of the build. In today's episode, as you can see on screen, we are fitting the engine. We're only mocking it up for now, and obviously the engine's got to go in for some machining, and then we've got to obviously build it up. So this is only like a trial run just to see where it's going to sit, make sure it's in regulations, and kind of so we can make the engine mounts up and get an idea of where it's going to sit once it's all built up. We obviously made sure to double check these measurements, make sure it's all parallel and sitting square. But now we're moving on to the actual engine mount itself, cutting the angle into it so that once we've put the engine mount bush in, it will sit flush with that. So as you can see, we're actually using the roll cage angle cutter, but it does the job, and the same thing you'd use for this application as well. So as you can see, we're just cutting through here now. Obviously again, double check our measurements before we cut it to make sure we're not going wrong, cutting it too angled, because obviously you can't reverse that. But Dad's just putting it up on the belt sander now. And so obviously, as I said earlier, here you can see sitting all flush, so now we can weld it up. We're obviously doing one side at a time so that we can make sure if anything does move that we can rectify that before both are already kind of cut into their angles, where they're not reversible. Making sure to weld all around, obviously. It does take a bit of time, but it's quite a critical element of the engine. So here's the result on screen now. As you can see, solid weld all around, so that's all good. Now we're just repeating the same step again for the other side. This time you can see the angle's a little bit different, but we did check that obviously, and now Dad's just welding it up. Now we are moving on, so we've got the press, the hydraulic press. We're going to put the actual rubber mount into the engine mount. So you can see Dad's just putting it in slowly. Can't go too fast with it anyway. We've done it whilst it was still quite hot, so that it kind of fit in. We did cool it down straight afterwards so that the mount wouldn't get burnt or whatever. But it worked quite well. They went in very flush, so that obviously worked. Now we put the engine mounts in place, and then we got the plates and we tacked the angle up so that we could then fully weld it round without it moving or kind of going out of line. So as you can see now, Dad's just welding it all up. This again took quite long because we wanted to make sure we had a solid thick weld on it, so it's not going to like fracture or break whilst we're actually racing or at a later date. And obviously, so now we've had to repeat the same on the other side. It did take quite a long time to actually check that the angles cutting was correct. Obviously we don't want to go too far with it, otherwise we'd have to start again. So we did triple check the measurements before we welded it up and tacked it up, so that we made sure it was all as we wanted it and as we'd measured it up at the beginning. So it did take quite a long time to do, but definitely was worth it in the end. But that's it for this episode, at least. There'll be another episode out shortly. Dad's been building the exhaust manifold, and that turned out very nice, to be fair, but you'll be able to see the kind of build up from that. We did get quite a bit of footage for it, so that'll be in the next episode. But thank you all for watching, and make sure to stay tuned for some more. Bye.